Alright, boys. It is officially Aquarius season, so if you are new to my channel, my name is Lorraine and I love going over everything astrology, especially sun-moon combinations. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about Aquarius Sun with Aries Moon. So I'm going to start off the video by talking about what a typical Aquarius Sun is like, and then I will get into the moon placement and talk about how the moon probably affects certain aspects of the sun sign. So if there's certain parts of my Aquarius Sun description that don't quite fit or don't really resonate with you, then hang on until you hear my description of your moon sign and how they interact with each other, and then it will probably tie together quite nicely and make a lot of sense. Now, before I get started, I want to let you know that once a month I'm giving away a free astrology birth chart reading. So if you want to know how you can enter into this draw and potentially get a free reading from myself, which would cover more than just your sun and moon sign like in this video, then stay tuned till the end and I'll let you know how to enter. But now let's dive into Aquarius Sun. So Aquarius Suns are very easygoing, patient, unique, and intellectual. They're definitely the most opinionated air sign. Libra and Gemini, they do like learning about information and having ideas, but I find that they tend to kind of be pretty airy about how much they stick to those opinions. Aquarius is a lot more opinionated, and they are a lot less likely to bend to other people's opinions and other people's like pressure to agree with them. Aquarius is far more likely to be opinionated and refuse to conform to what other people think. Because a lot of the time when you're opinionated, you're going to have some pushback or conflict from other people that don't agree with you. And I find that Gemini and Libra are the two air signs that are far more likely to kind of cave to some pressure or just understand both sides or just want to get along. Aquarius is a little less like that. They're far more likely to stand firm in their opinions. The nice thing about Aquarius though is they tend to, like, despite their strong opinions, they tend to not be very judgmental of others for their differing views. In fact, I find Aquarius can have quite a bit of respect for other people's viewpoints if they, aren't aggressive or mean about it. Basically, if two people are able to just have differing viewpoints and actually have a real conversation, and if Aquarius is able to understand like how people got to that understanding or that belief or that opinion, they're pretty likely to kind of understand and not be super judgmental about it. They don't easily get offended. Aquarius is not an emotional placement, and they're quite objective, and so they tend to have kind of a live and let live mentality. So the only time in Aquarius is not those things, where they're the time that an Aquarius is judgmental and does not have a live and let live mentality is if they feel like the other person, or if someone is infringing on either their freedom or someone else's freedom in some way, or has an opinion that is potentially harmful or something like that. So Aquarius is very concerned about freedom and individuality. And so if someone has an opinion that's, say, very narrow-minded, or it kind of infringes on people's ability to be an individual and a free-thinking individual, then that's when Aquarius can be kind of judgmental and stick up for people. They love to, Aquarius is a very rebellious placement, and they love to stand up for other people, and they love to stand up for causes. So you'll probably tend to see, like, if Aquarius is standing up for some kind of cause where they want to create change of some kind, it usually has to do with freedom and individuality and kind of unity. They want people to be able to stand up for like this unity and this collective ideal of some kind. And that's kind of what you see happening lately with what's going on with Wall Street bets on the stock market. Saturn and Jupiter entered into Aquarius. First we had the great conjunction, and now they're both transiting through Aquarius throughout this year. And I had said in one of my transit videos that I think you're going to start see some kind of uprising and rebellion when it comes to freedom and wanting people to have like their collective freedoms, and people kind of being more united and banding together to create some sort of freedom when it comes to authority, government, work, finances, that sort of thing. And so we're starting to see that. And that's just pinnacle Aquarius, is rebelling to create some sort of change in the direction of freedom and standing for a collective cause. So Aquarius is also known for being quite aloof. That comes from being very independent and just wanting their own individuality and freedom. So they can come across across quite aloof. They're just not a very emotional placement. They don't get easily worked up. But despite that, they do enjoy relationships with like of all kinds, romantic, friendship, otherwise. They enjoy getting to know lots of people, and they enjoy connecting with people, and they can be a very reliable and faithful friend as long as that person doesn't infringe on their independence and their freedom. So it can come across to other people as them being very cold when they have this relationship with a person, whether it's a friendship or romantic or a family, a member of some kind. They can have what feels like a very close relationship. They get along really well, and the Aquarius Sun is really easy to get along with. You know, they're the kind of people you can just hang out in their company and in their presence, and you don't really have to try super hard, right? They're not the kind of people that you have to like plan some big thing to do with them. Like, they're the people that you could just like sit in silence with and actually enjoy their company. And you could do this if it has been like a year since you've seen them. You know, Aquarius Suns don't need a lot of attention. They don't need to be in constant contact. But you can pick up where you left off, even if it's been a long time since you've seen them. Now, the where Aquarius comes across as very cold and detached is because their individuality and their freedom is the most important thing to them. And so they can have a pretty good relationship with someone. Like I mentioned, it doesn't have to be romantic. So they can have this relationship with a person and seem quite close and get along really well. As soon as that person, though, is infringing on their independence and freedom, that is when Aquarius is able to drop them like a hot sack of potatoes and cut them off, essentially. So that's where, to other people, that seems very cold and, oh, like, how could you do that if, like, you know, we're close friends or we're dating or whatever it is. As soon as an Aquarius feels trapped, they are gone. And so that's just how they operate, because for them, the number one most important thing to them is their individuality and their independence and their freedom. And so as soon as you are going for that, they are out. And this can depend on the moon placement, which we will get to. Now, lastly, about Aquarius Sun is they, like I mentioned, are so concerned with being an individual and being unique. And sometimes I feel like the Aquarius puts like so much pressure on themselves to be unique and intellectual and different. You know, they're the kind of people that are into like conspiracy theories and alien life and just a lot of cool stuff, you know. But sometimes they can be so concerned about you being unique and being different and going against social norms that sometimes they just do it for the sake of being different or the sake of being unique. Not all of them, but some do. It's just that's so important to them that like it's almost as if sometimes I think Aquarius's self-worth is attached to how unique they are and how how special they are compared to other people. I think Aquarius's biggest fear would be being average or being mediocre. So sometimes I feel like they put too much pressure on themselves, or they're so concerned with being unique and being different that sometimes they do it just for the sake of being unique and different, even if that's not truly who they are or what they're interested in or want to do. Now, before I get started on the moon sign, I just wanted to let you know about the Kickstarter campaign that I have officially launched. At the time of recording this is how much I have raised already, and I would really appreciate if you would check it out if you enjoy the content that I'm making. This Kickstarter campaign will be helping fund the content that I'm making for this YouTube channel, like the sun-moon combinations, and it will also help fund the making and printing of this beautiful tarot deck. So I will leave a link in the description if you want to check that out. In the meantime, let's get back to today's video. So now we get to Aries Moon. So Aries Moons are very passionate, energetic, self-confident and outspoken, and very adventurous. So a lot of these actually work quite well with Aquarius. Aries and Aquarius are actually sextile each other, so it can actually be quite a harmonious relationship. Aries is very passionate, also really enjoys freedom, they welcome change, and they don't want to be tied down either. So as you can see, there's a lot of similarities and compatibility between this pairing. I'd have to say that where this kind of runs into maybe some challenges is the Aries Moons are very impatient, and they can kind of, the negative tendency of Aries Moons is they can be a little petty and hold a grudge. They're very impatient and they run really hot. Aries is a fire sign, and it's the cardinal fire sign, and it's the first sign of the zodiac. So they have kind of a me first mentality, but think of them in terms of like the fire. They're the initial fire. They're like when you light a match, and you know how the match has that initial like spark and flare up, and then it kind of settles down. That's really Aries, and so they're kind of that initial spark and that initial like fire that is in and of itself not sustainable. They just can run really hot and then cool down a little later. So I think the Aries moon makes the Aquarius sun a little less level-headed, and run a little hotter, and they definitely get worked up more easily than Aquarius. This is a pairing that just really takes their freedom and their individuality and them getting to do what they want to do very seriously. They probably have really good leadership abilities because Aquarius is pretty good with people, and then Aries is very driven and will probably push Aquarius to reach new heights. Like I mentioned, Aquarius stands more firm in their opinions than the other two air signs in Libra and Gemini, but having the Aries moon will make them even more so very firm in their opinions and a little more self-assured. Like I mentioned, Aquarius is already pretty self-assured and already pretty confident, and don't really care too much what other people think, but even more so with Aries. Aries moons can kind of have a bit of trouble with temper, Aries placements in general. I think the Aquarius sun may have a bit of a harder time kind of tempering down their emotions and all of the fiery energy and emotions that they have underneath the surface. So they could potentially have like some blow-ups, have a hard time with their temper, but I think what it would be is the Aries will kind of like I mentioned, it's a spark, it's a flame. They may have this blow up, whether that's like passionate or whether it's like good energy, they're very vivacious, or it could be anger, whatever it may be. They'll have kind of these little sparks of really hot emotions, and then they'll kind of cool down, and then I think Aquarius will help cool that down even more. But yeah, I just think this moon sign definitely adds a level of like energy and just vitality and willingness to do stuff and like trailblaze. So that will really help Aquarius in their endeavors. So that is all I have planned for today's video. Thank you for watching all of the way through. As promised, I wanted to let you know how you could enter to win the free birth chart reading. So all you have to do is subscribe to my channel and then comment below the video letting me know that you have done so. When you've done those two things, both of those, then you will be entered to win a free birth chart reading from myself, and then I will announce the winner at the end of the month. I'll release a video on the last day of each month, and that's how you'll be able to watch to find out if you've won. So stay tuned for that, and good luck. And if you're feeling generous, you could give this video a like and potentially check out my Kickstarter campaign. That is all for now. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more. I hope to see you again. Take care.